Hello Patreon, it is I, Captain Logan. I am driving around in my car, gotta go pick up pizza for the family, and thought I would spend a little bit of time with you. So hopefully this recording comes out okay. I've been trying some new software on my phone that surprisingly sounds almost as good as my Yeti mic, at least to my ear, in headphones. And I have only posted one video that way so far. It was the third lecture for the creative writing series. That was recorded here just with my phone. And I haven't heard any complaints about it yet, but also that's just for the writing group, so not a whole lot of people have listened to that. So I don't know if anybody will notice when I start posting videos that way on the channel, but if it sounds as good or really close to the Yeti to people, I will be able to record more videos sometimes because I don't have to worry about where exactly, my house or where I am. And it seems like acoustics aren't really as big of an issue recording into the phone versus into the Yeti, but I don't know if I'm right about that. So anyway, I'm just going to keep experimenting, and it's crazy how far technology seems to have come. When I started, I was using this little camera called a Flip Mino, and it was not of the best of quality. And if you go back and listen to the original, to the early rewinds, they're recorded with that camera. And what I would do is I would just take, it was this tiny camera, like smaller than the size of a modern cell phone, of like an iPhone, and I would flip it over because I didn't have another microphone on the desk, and I would just record into it, and that's how I did rewind. So I would just have this black video feed, and I would take that out, and of course I would put in the stills, because that was back when I was still using those. And it's nuts to think that now pretty much anybody, if you have a decent enough cell phone, really there aren't too many different kinds of phones right now of different qualities, really about anybody can do what I'm doing right now with not much more expense or any at all than what they're already spending just for, the little pint-sized computer they have in their pocket all the time. So I'm getting kind of overzealous, as I tend to, and shooting a lot of videos right now with that, as I'm realizing that I can do that. And I don't know if I'll be able to keep up the output that I'm doing right now, but I've gotten really excited about reviewing new comics again. I've been reading a lot of new #1s that have just come out, and I mentioned this, I think, on the last After Dark. I really miss doing the #1 show, and I'm going to start putting out new ones in a totally different format and see if they catch on and if people like them. I'd like to start gearing our channel a little bit more toward comics again. Not to say that I don't want to do a bunch of other kinds of things. I mean, I really like where the channel is right now, and the idea of Geekvolution as a kind of geeky catch-all thing, but comics and superheroes, of course, kind of where I got my start, kind of a thing I know about more than I do other things, and comics are a big passion of mine. And I also miss writing reviews, and obviously I don't want to do this in lieu of Rewind, and I don't mean to put Rewind off. I'm working on Daredevil, but doing these kind of quicker reviews, they take 15-20 minutes to write when I'm just writing about one #1, is really kind of getting me focused again and making me want to write Rewind. And it's like, if I write one of those, then I get kind of in my zone a little bit, and I'm ready to work on the big, meaty things that I haven't had time to do lately. So I've got a plan, I've got a scheme. I'm going to start, I've got a particular time that I'm going to start working on Rewind, and I'm going to start giving myself deadlines again. And I knew after the baby was born I was going to need to take a few weeks off from Rewind. So folks that are thinking, oh God, I've been seeing this from people, oh God, Captain Logan's never going to do a Rewind again, or it's going to be a long time before Rewind starts happening again, because he had this baby and he didn't plan for it. I had every intention to take some time off from at least that series. It's just that, as I've mentioned before on the Captain Logan show, I thought that I was going to have maybe enough time to get it finished, to get it written, before the baby was born, and then he was born 2 weeks early. And so it's been less of an issue of time, understand, than of distraction. And having my wife home for the last 6 weeks, and helping her with things has made it kind of, and carting my son around, has made it kind of difficult to get focused and work up the energy and put my head in the right place for it. And writing these kind of little mini reviews is kind of helping me get my focus back. And I'm going to start posting those, and I don't want to promise anything, but I'd like to make that a regular thing. And, you know, I don't mean to overextend myself and do way too many things, but, and also I'm wanting to start streamlining the Omnibus a little bit, and probably try to make that a little bit shorter, partly because I'm not going to have the time to stay up as late as I have been making those with Eric. So kicking around different things, different ways to handle that, different ways to handle the requests. I may start also doing mini reviews written for those, or at least some of those, and not do as many of them on the Omnibus. So requesters, never fear, those are still going to happen. It just might be in a different format than the way I've been doing those lately. And Eric and I might cut back a little bit on some of the, not even the segments, just the sheer number of things that we've been reviewing on the Omnibus. And that's partly what the #1 show will help with. You know, we'll probably just have 1 or 2 features we're reviewing together, and maybe not as much singularly. I also am going to need to rethink the Omnibus a little bit if we do what we've been kind of kicking around, although I've got to make sure that Eric is up for it and really wants to do it. But there seems to be some interest in making a Patreon perk out of Eric's old video format, where he would just sit down and record an off-the-cuff review on his own, uncensored, and post it to Patreon. And I asked Facebook and YouTube about that, and people seem to be receptive to that idea. I promised not to do reviews or commentaries as Patreon perks, so I don't feel especially comfortable with that, but we've been getting a lot of requests for it, and it wouldn't go on Geekvolution is the problem, because it would be uncensored. And so the only place it really makes sense to put that is Patreon, unless Eric were to start making things for his own channel again. But the reason we're talking about doing it on Patreon is because Eric really, or I mean, Eric wants this too. One of my lofty goals is to get Geekvolution to a place, I mean, I never feel like I need the channel to get to like a 500,000 million subscriber channel. It's very niche. It's not that, it's never going to be that kind of channel. And I'm very happy with and proud of what we've built. But I really would like to get it monetarily to a place where Eric can live on it, or at least partly live on it, where maybe he would only have to work a part-time job because he's not able to move up as, you know, really any farther than he is right now in the job he has. And it's a thing I'd really like to make happen for him. So I'm thinking of really anything we can do, any cool new Patreon perks that we can offer to try to get new folks interested. And if we did that, it would be at the $2 tier. We're not going to make that a higher tier, certainly. So you guys would already have access to it. But I like to think that maybe there would be some new interest in Patreon if we did that. I'm not sure. So anyway, I just wanted to chat with you guys a little bit, give you an update on what's going on with me. I'm writing furiously and getting my head back into the writing game. Also, end of this week, finally going to have the first meeting of the Geekvolution Creative Writing Workshop. I'm stoked about that. Going to have to start reading stories pretty soon. And you guys that are coming to that, I think we're going to have a really good time. I'm really excited about it. So I look forward to seeing you. And some of you guys, I've talked to some on Patreon and have gotten to know a little bit, but not in person. So guys like Neil McCalmont, I'm excited to meet you guys. So anyway, thanks so much for listening to me ramble on while I'm driving around in my car. And I hope the hum of the engine and the wheel spinning hasn't been too irritating for you. I have no idea what the audio quality is going to sound like for this. And I partly just wanted to make this to kind of test the microphone a little bit more and the software I'm using, the app I'm using. But anyway, you guys are wonderful. I sure appreciate the support. You guys help to make it worthwhile, and I do this stuff for you guys. So thanks a bunch for helping out and for supporting us. And I'm gonna get going. I gotta go get pizza for the fams. I'm never gonna say that again. Never gonna do again. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and I will see you again with lots more content on Geevolution. Bye for now.